What is up, YouTube, and welcome to episode 56 of the Gals Daily. Let's get into it. So, as you can see, the albatross is hung up. I hung that up earlier. The print came out nice. At the same time, I was printing additional parts for the ailerons, because I mentioned in the last episode some of them were a bit bananaed. So I had like almost 3 sets. It was like, I didn't quite have a full set of each run. Most recent run that I did with this hanger, that one printed. The rest completely failed. I am not too sure what's going on. This is the part here. It was this one. It was one of these I actually needed. This was one of the ones that was really bananaed and broken. So yeah, as you can see, like, for the most part, it turns out, this is going to be really overexposed. There's no really easy way for me to show you this. For the most part, it's nice and smooth, but then every so often you get these sort of like holes, and like this one here, or this one here is another good example. You get these holes on it. I'm not too sure what causes it. The same has happened to the wings. Now, this is the 2 segments of the wing that I said I was printing on Twitter. It failed. So let's have a quick look at that and talk about what I think is going on and what I can do to change it and to stop it from happening. But it's really hit and miss, because some parts of it are printing fine, other parts aren't printing fine. It's the same with this. Like, you just get like these weird holes in the skin where the next layer doesn't adhere to the following layer, and it sort of like splits. I'm not too sure. But let's have a closer look at those wing segments and see what it is. This is the second section. Now, for the most part, this is printing really nice. It's super lightweight. The one side of it is printed just fine, and you can see just up here it started to split, and you can follow that round to the other side where it's pretty much split all the way across, and there's another one down here. So there are a couple things that this could be related to. This is the fact that it's fine on the one side but not on the other side tells me that this is a print orientation issue. Now, these wings are on a dihedral. They have a dihedral angle, which means that when I print them, even though I'm printing it to the bottom face flat, they still have a slight like lean to them, which means that the one side is getting a overhang print. This is going to be really hard to see. I'll grab my phone and we'll have a look. So this is what I'm dealing with. When it's printing the layers, don't mind the paint on my fingernails, I was paying my mum I'm screwed. So you can see that there's quite a bit of layer detachment going on some of the parts, but then other parts are just turning out fine. Now you can see this sort of, you can see it there if I bring the shadow in. This is from it printing on an angle. You see that sort of onion layer type look? Yeah, so this is from when it prints on a slight angle, and then the other side is failing, where you can see that these layers are overhanging. So when it's printing the next layer, they're sort of trying to print like this on that side, but like that on the other side. Does that make sense? So we're getting overhang on this side and overlap on this side when it prints the skin layer. And it's sort of doing the same thing on some of the other parts. Internally, all of the internal structure is just gorgeous. That's really turning out really nice. I'm super happy with all of that. You can see it better on these ones, but you can see some more of that layer detachment happening there. Now those are definitely pushing the limits. That those are complete overhangs for the print. So when it prints those layers, those are completely overhanging. And also because of that angle, it prints this edge first, and then it prints a bit more of this side, and then a bit more, and it never prints this whole like rib section in one flat plane. It only prints from like the one side moving over as it gets through the print. As it goes through the layers, it moves to a different cross section of the thing on an angle. So yeah, I hope that helps explain sort of like what I think is going on. Some of these are just atrocious. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to tweak some of the settings. I'm printing the same sliced file again now, but I've added 10% tenacious to the mix to help sort of like give it some more durable toughness instead of being this brittle toughness. So hopefully that helps the layers bond when you've got the blue, the tenacious, and the fast mixed in there. We'll see how that goes. If not, then I'll know in a few hours as the print's gotten a little higher if I'm seeing more of this, because this is as much of it as printed. Like, it still had another 13-14 hours left in the print, and it only got through this much of it on a 19-hour print total. So yeah, we'll see in a few more hours how it's doing. If it's not doing so well, if it's doing the same thing, I'll stop the print, and then I will go into Slicer and make some more changes. I'm also thinking I might make some changes to the model itself by adding some more lateral beams in some of these areas where it is splitting. But I think just making sure that the orientation of the print for the rib sections is perpendicular, is parallel to the build plate, instead of being on a slight angle where it prints one side of it, then the middle side of it, then the next middle, and then the outside. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to, aside from getting my hands filthy from painting and that. Painting that as well. Going through parts that I've been printing, analysing them, seeing where things can change, how I can improve stuff. It's all a learning experience. Like, this has never been done before. I'm breaking new ground. No one has resin printed an RC plane before. So I don't have anywhere to look up, hey, this is how you do this, or any of that sort of thing. So I knew going into this that there would be a lot of reprinting of stuff, learning what works, what doesn't work, making assumptions, testing those assumptions, and then having to make changes based on the results. All in all, I'm very happy with the results on a structure standpoint. In places where it did print without failing, the skin and the gap between the ribs is sufficient, so I'm happy with that. I just need to change, like I said, the orientation slightly so that the way it prints is more important, if not just as important, as what it is you're printing. Luckily, I've not had anyone come along saying, hey, you should print things on an angle in a resin printer. In general, yes, that's what you do. You print things on an angle. You distribute the printing surface over an angle, and for many different reasons. But specifically for what I'm doing that sort of thing with these very thin walls is a bad idea, as demonstrated here. Even just a couple of degrees off has caused some major issues. Yeah, let's see if we can solve these problems. I don't want my wings to be talking. Pretty much covers what I've been up to today. Just relaxing most of the day, actually. Just chilling. I've not really been doing much work. I've done one extra wing section piece. If you follow my Twitter, you can see that on there. But for the most part, I've been sort of just chilling, and I've been listening to an audiobook. I started listening to this audiobook back on episode 54, 53. A few days ago, a couple days ago, I started listening to this audiobook called Drop Trooper by Rick Partler. It's a very sort of Starship Troopers-esque / Undying Mercenaries. That's another great series. It's not quite like that. The guys don't die and get revived all the time, but it's very much like a military sort of new guy from the slums joins the the Commonwealth military in space to fight an alien scourge, and they find out he's really good at what he does because of his growing up in the slums and stuff, and he quickly rises through the ranks as an awesome mech suit wearing badass. I'm really enjoying it. It's a very book. I'm on to book 2 already. It's a very enjoyable book. So yeah. Go check that out if you can. And maybe one day I might actually be doing advertisements for Audible. If anybody should be doing sponsorship things for Audible, it's me. I've read hundreds of books on Audible. So yeah. Anyways, that'll cover it for today. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe if you're not. Go check out my Patreon if you can. That'll be super helpful. And I've been Chaos as always. And until next time, expect the unexpected. And I will see you guys later. And a special thank you to all my patrons that help support the channel. If you would also like to support the channel, there's a link in the description.